You're listening to the Murder Speaks podcast, the show that spills the tea about true crime. Here's your host, Wendy Hinbest.
Hey, welcome back to Murder Speaks. So today's real crime story is about 43-year-old Lorraine Hendricks of Jacksonville, Florida. March 4th, 1990. Lorraine goes missing. She was driving on Highway I-95 during the day and disappeared. She was on her way to see her best friend, Carol Worley. Lorraine was coming from Jacksonville. She stopped at her father's house to drop off her 5-year-old daughter. During this time, she and her husband, Rick, are getting a divorce. Rick tells police getting a divorce was a mutual decision. The morning she went missing, she tells her friend Carol that she'll be there by noon. And she was usually late, so Carol didn't think anything of it when she was running late. That afternoon, Carol leaves several messages at Lorraine's home and with her parents, but she didn't reach anybody. She couldn't reach Lorraine's husband, Rick, because she didn't have a phone number for him. When she speaks to Lorraine's dad later that night, he tells her that he last spoke to Lorraine around 10 a.m. She was at a rest stop getting gas. Rick tells police that the gas gauge on Lorraine's car didn't work, so he told her to reset the odometer so she knows how much gas she used. The odometer was set at 57.9 miles. So the police drive north 57.9 miles and end up at the gas station Lorraine went to. They speak to the gas attendant, and he tells them the day Lorraine was there was also a shady person with a knife hanging around. He was going from car to car looking in windows. Her husband Rick was 4 hours away in Jacksonville picking up their daughter from her father's house, and her father confirmed that, so he was eliminated as a suspect. March 9th, 1990, the police find a nude woman's body in the woods. They also find a gold earring, and Lorraine's husband confirms it's Lorraine's earring. The autopsy report confirmed the cause of death was strangulation. Lorraine was killed around 11:15 a.m. 2 days after they find Lorraine's body, the police find the suspicious man who was hanging around the gas station. He tells police that at the time of the murder, he was 100 miles away checking into a hotel, and the hotel confirms that. The police look at Lorraine's car again and discover her registration was missing from the car. Her husband tells police it was in the car when she left. Her wallet was found at a rest stop, but her license was missing. Law enforcement could have been involved because when they pull somebody over, the first thing they ask for is license and registration. So the police go through traffic tickets, and one sticks out. They discover a ticket that was issued to a woman about 25 minutes before Lorraine vanished. The ticket was written by a police officer named Tim Harris. She was pulled over for going 71 miles per hour in a 65-mile speed zone, which was odd because the police generally allowed 10 miles over. The girl who was pulled over tells police that when the officer pulled her over, he used his PA system and asked her to walk towards him. She appeared to be very pregnant, and he let her go. She tells police that she had a radar detector in her vehicle, and it never went off, so she wasn't speeding when he pulled her over. A woman by the name of Sandy Dowling was married to Tim Harris. One day, while she was reading the article about Lorraine going missing, her husband says something like, "And she was really pretty too." Sandy had a feeling her husband had something to do with it. Sandy met her husband Tim by him pulling her over. By March 1990, their marriage isn't doing that good. He tells Sandy that he's having an affair and he met the woman by pulling her over. Sandy kicked Tim out of the house for having an affair. March 23rd, 1990, Tim broke into the house. The kids were playing in their rooms. He tells Sandy to go upstairs and he handcuffs her and puts a gun to her head. She pretends everything is going to be okay and they'll stay married, so he lets her go. The police are contacted. Apparently, there was a clerical error, and Tim no longer had an alibi. Tim confesses he pulled Lorraine over for wearing headphones. He admits that she and Tim went into the woods and had sex. Then he drove away, and he thought she drove away as well. Then finally, he admits to killing her, and the conversation was recorded.
You understand, I need you to clear your conscience, but I can't promise you anything. I know that, don't you? Was it after the fact? Was it after the fact? Yeah. Yeah, this was the part of the fight. All that much about this during your life? Did there ever get to be a point where it appeared to you that she was afraid of it? Yeah. So that before you have that? Yeah, I called her all the time. I called her. Was it as though you were angry with Sandy? I asked her why she was born.
He admits to killing her by strangling her with her own underwear, and he was calling his wife's name while he was killing her.
She's trying to convince him, look, I'm not the person that hurt you.
Nobody believed that the sex was consensual. Tim was sentenced to 25 years to life. I mean, this is kind of scary, especially for a woman. Like, you're driving on the highway and you get pulled over by a police officer. You feel like that you're safe because it's a police officer. You don't think your life is in danger. Tim used his position as a police officer to pull over Lorraine, and then he killed her. She didn't even see it coming. I think that if Sandy had not acted like everything was okay, I mean, she was smart to do that. She was smart to pretend that everything is fine, so he'd let her go. And if she had not done that, I believed he would have killed her. She is very lucky. Well, thank you so much for joining me on this week's episode of Murder Speaks. If you like it, please share it. Sharing is caring. And if you are a true crime addict like me, check out my store, crystalkiss.com. That's Crystal with a K, for some murder merch. Start killing it with Crystal Kiss murder merch. Check out my YouTube channels, Crystal Kiss, where I post a copy of my podcast and talk about other real crime stories. Join me again next time on Murder Speaks. Don't forget to subscribe. Thanks for listening. Bye.